All right, I got the signal. We are going to start. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming to our session, and hope you are having a great reInvent. Once you put on your headsets, give me a quick thumbs up if you can hear it. Great, awesome. And there's a volume rocker on one of the sides to make me louder or softer. Awesome. So let's get started. And before we jump into the session, I had a question for you. This is something I struggled with myself. When my wife and I moved into a new house, she wanted a beautiful backyard that looks like this. But what we inherited was a muddy clump of grass. Now, I had three choices. I could do it all myself, pick out the plants, pick out the boulders, lay the sod and the grass, and design the whole thing myself. I could do that. Maybe spend a few weekends. Or I could hire someone to do just the grass, but then I do the boulders, go to a nursery for the plants, and so on. Or the third option, which I took, is I was lazy and I basically contracted a landscaping service that did it all for me, and they helped me customize it based on my preferences, right? They asked me what plants we like, what kind of water feature, and stuff like that. And I had only one point of contact that I worked with, and everything was done to our preference, and it was very easy. What would you do if you were in my situation? And more importantly, why am I here talking about a backyard in the middle of reInvent that's a tech conference? Well, the reason is hundreds of thousands of AWS customers are asking themselves a very analogous question every single day. When they have a business problem or when they have a customer use case to address, they have three choices. They can build it all themselves in-house if they believe that's their core competency. They can buy individual products from software vendors or channel partners and stitch them together. Or they can work with an SI or a channel partner to get it all in one pre-packaged turnkey solution, right? So that's a choice that a lot of us, I know there's some customers in the crowd as well, a lot of us as well as all of our customers ask themselves every single day. And that is the exact focus of our session today. I'm Sid. I lead a product team for AWS Marketplace and partner services. And I'm joined by Vincent, who is a business development manager on Marketplace as well. And together, today we are going to talk to you about three key things. One, we are going to see how, as AWS Marketplace, we are seeing customer behavior shift from buying point products to buying end-to-end turnkey solutions. Second, we're going to talk to you about an exciting new feature that we launched just at this reInvent, which now lets you sell such solutions in Marketplace. And third, we're going to talk about what all of this means for you and your business. Whether you are buying from Marketplace, you are selling as a software vendor, or you are a channel partner or a system integrator. So that's what we are going to take out of this session today. Before I get started, I'd love to understand a little bit of the spread of the crowd. So raise your right hand if you buy on Marketplace today. Okay. Raise your left hand if you sell on Marketplace, if you're a seller. Okay. And maybe raise your right hand again if you're brand new to Marketplace. You don't know what Marketplace is. Okay, perfect. I'll pace myself accordingly. So what Marketplace is a global, ever-expanding catalog of software products, services, and data products, and ML, and agents and tools. We recently launched the agents and tools category in July. So it's an ever-expanding catalog. We have more than 70 categories like security, DevOps, data analytics, contact center, and so on. So for any of the products that you want, like a server image or a container for any of these use cases, odds are you're going to find it in Marketplace. Earlier this year, we also expanded the catalog to have not only products that are based in AWS, but also on-prem, hybrid, or other cloud products in the catalog as well. So that's expanding the catalog even further. Another area of investment for us is global reach. So every year we continue adding more and more countries in terms of currencies supported, taxation support, regulation support, invoicing, and so on. So we are really at a global scale now across all the continents and across 37 AWS regions. But why do customers buy from Marketplace versus buying direct? We'll go to the next slide and look at this in detail, but essentially, it's about the flexibility that Marketplace gives you as a customer. We have thousands of products that have free trials. You can then graduate to pay as you go, where you pay based on usage. And then once you know that you want to use this product at scale, you can negotiate custom terms, discounted pricing, and a contract, right? So you have that flexibility as a customer, and it grows with your usage and your use case. The second thing is that it gives you a standard interface across hundreds or thousands of vendors. I met some of you earlier, y'all represent big Fortune 500 companies, and you typically work with hundreds or thousands of vendors. You don't want to follow a different sales process, a different negotiation process, different data analytics with each of them. Marketplace gives you that common standard interface so that all of those sales look the same to you as a customer or to you as a seller. So with that, let's dive into some of the key benefits for Marketplace buyers. The first one, as I mentioned, is this ever-expanding catalog, and we constantly invest in features to grow the catalog and to make it easier to find what you need. For example, just this re:Invent, we launched something called Agent Mode, where you can come to Marketplace, you can, in natural language, describe your use case, or you can even upload a request for information document or a requirements document, and the agent will figure out which of the Marketplace products are most suitable for your need. And then you can compare multiple products, decide what to compare on, and so on. So it's a really growing and diverse catalog with tools to help you discover and evaluate the right product for you. The second benefit is we have features like standard contracts, vendor insights, and others that help you shrink the time from sourcing a vendor to actually procuring from them, right? Companies typically spend months in negotiation, risk assessment, and all of these processes, and Marketplace helps you shrink that time. So you get faster time to value and faster time to procurement. The third one is the way Marketplace works, you get to consolidate costs across multiple purchases, and you get to use a lot of the same tools you're using for your AWS 1P services. So if you're using things like Cost Explorer, a cost and usage report, budget notifications, all of these tools that help you manage your 1P spend, you can now use the same tools with your Marketplace and third-party spend as well. So it just helps you consolidate all of your cost, optimization, cost management, and analytics across both your AWS service as well as third-party software spend. And last but not least, the governance features. Back in the day, Marketplace used to be more about individual builders getting point products and quickly unblocking themselves. But now we have large enterprise customers procuring line of business software from Marketplace. And these customers tell us that they need strong governance controls to decide who can and cannot buy from Marketplace within their company. Are there only certain products that are approved versus not? Is there a certain transaction limit that, hey, if you are buying something more than $10,000, you need extra approval? Purchase order management, chargebacks, all of these features that make it more enterprise ready, right? So that's the fourth benefit, is you can tightly govern how Marketplace gets used within your company without slowing down the speed of innovation. So these are the key benefits for buyers, but what about those of you who raise your hands as sellers on Marketplace? What are the benefits there? The first one is the ability to grow outside your own size. So I love this example, I've quoted this often, but there is a startup in New Zealand, a 17% startup, who is closing 6-figure deals in the US without a single salesperson here. How are they doing that? They're doing that because they're leveraging the growth and the scale that Marketplace brings to them, along with AWS co-sell, which is another way to sort of accelerate your growth and go-to-market motions. A lot of our features, such as the standard contract that I mentioned before, but also APIs to help you automate your selling, your negotiations, and others, help you accelerate your sales motion. So we have studies that show that sellers get much faster from quote to cash on Marketplace versus direct deals. The third is that it helps you streamline your operations. So most of the sellers have a large operations team that manages all of the direct deals, but with APIs and integrations and other features that Marketplace offers, these operations get much more streamlined, and you can close hundreds or even thousands of offers a month with a very small deal desk or a very small operations team. And again, last is the reach. As I mentioned before, we continue to grow across different countries in the world. We take the burden of taxation, invoicing, currency conversion, and things like that so that you don't have to. On a different axis, Marketplace also continues to invest in meeting customers where they are. So some of our customers are in procure-to-pay tools like Coupa, Ariba, Workday, and others, and they want to consume from there. Guess what? We build integrations into those tools. Some other customers want to purchase from their channel partner website. We have features like Buy with AWS that take you to a storefront outside of AWS. So because Marketplace does all of this on your behalf, you don't have to. You, as even a small seller, or even for our large sellers, you get to benefit from this and meet customers where they are without incremental investment on your side. So I hope this gives you a good overview of what Marketplace is and what are the benefits. But as I said before, all of this today is at a single product level. So before this launch, customers only bought individual products and services and then had to stitch them together. But now we are seeing a shift in what customers expect and want to buy from Marketplace. To talk more about that shift, I'm going to have Vincent walk you through the next section.
Thank you, Sid. So we've established what AWS Marketplace is. What we'd like to talk about now is the trends that we are seeing in procurement today. So what's happening today is that we are witnessing a profound change in the way organizations are approaching technology procurement. Traditionally, technical teams would review products they needed, look at features, drive the integration of the different components that they needed. This worked when organizations had the time and the expertise to piece together their own solutions from discrete products. Today's landscape is very different. Business buyers are a lot more involved in technology procurement decisions. And they ask themselves questions such as, how do I modernize our contact center operations? They are looking for end results. They are looking for outcomes. And this shift is accelerating with AI. A lot of the organizations coming to AWS Marketplace today start with a business problem in mind. They don't necessarily know what products, individual products, they need to procure. When you start focusing on outcomes, you need to get different products to work together. That can be software products, that can be professional services. And business buyers want this to be delivered as ready-to-deploy solutions. So this sort of shift that we are seeing exists in a range of use cases. Just here, there's a few that we can just mention as example. For customers that are looking to procure zero-trust security solutions, typically they'll be looking for outcomes. That's the same when you look at modernizing your contact center, driving new opportunities around observability and monitoring. So This is a very common kind of change that we are seeing in the procurement environment today. Addressing this change is what we want to do with AWS Marketplace. So, for those of you that are partners, AWS partners, let's talk about how this shift, what it means to you. When you move to solution selling, you have the agency to deepen your offering, differentiate your offerings in the market, and deliver comprehensive outcomes. So this is really not about changing your business model. This is about giving you opportunities to provide a new type of value for your customers. What we see as well from the data is that partners that have a diversified offering and a comprehensive set of professional services typically command a 6.4x revenue multiplier compared to just normal AWS product resale. So when you move to solution selling, you address the evolving needs of your customers while still having a great opportunity to grow your business. So with this in mind and these trends happening in the market, we're very excited to bring to market a new capability in AWS Marketplace called multi-product solutions. This is a significant evolution in the way customers and buyers interact with AWS Marketplace. For the first time, you can combine multiple products and services into a single ready-to-buy solution for customers. This solution can include your own software, professional services, software from third-party vendors that are complementary to your products. You provide a fundamentally different kind of way for your customer to interact with you. And instead of customers having to discover, evaluate, and procure individual products, point products, we can now look at solutions that are addressing comprehensively their needs. For partners, this is also a significant change. This is about selling the way your customers want to buy. You present complete solutions that are completely aligned with your customers' business problems, and you maintain all the benefits that your customers have come to expect in terms of a lot of the kind of capabilities that Sid mentioned, in terms of standardized procurement, flexible billing, and all the different capabilities that Marketplace brings to market. So, let's talk about how these multi-product solutions on AWS Marketplace work. It's pretty simple. There's 3 main steps to using multi-product solution. The first one is to publish your solution on AWS Marketplace. So you create a solution that addresses a business need from your customers. Think of it as a way, you should design it to think of specific use cases in mind. So think what is in the end result that your customers are looking for. The second step is that your customers can start discovering these solutions. So instead of going on Marketplace today and searching for specific individual products, they can start typing actually business problems that they have, and these solutions will come to them. This kind of new paradigm shift is also complemented by a range of new feature enhancements that we've announced also over the past week around Gen AI search, and a range of improvements that we are making to the way customers can search on AWS Marketplace. When they discover these solutions, customers can see how the different components are working together as a comprehensive package. Finally, you can transact. So this is about providing customers a streamlined procurement experience through a single marketplace transaction. What's important to note as well is that in these solution transactions, every single product maintains its own pricing and terms. So you have a lot of flexibility in the way this is completed. So let's look now about how partners benefit from this new type of capabilities that we are bringing to AWS Marketplace. There's 3 big groups of benefits that I'd like to talk about. The first one is around how multi-product solutions help you transform your go-to-market. The most obvious one is that you move from individual products to solutions. The second one, that's pretty even more important, is that as you move towards solution selling on AWS Marketplace with multi-product solutions, you can start to tailor your solutions to specific customer use cases, specific industries, so you can start really to narrow down the value proposition in a way that makes sense to your specific customers. This move to multi-product solutions is also a great opportunity for you to rethink the way you can work with other partners on AWS Marketplace. Think of new ways to do joint selling or co-selling with partners that are providing complementary products to your own products on Marketplace. Second, this is about scaling solution selling. What we hear from partners and customers is that every deal on Marketplace is different. So the way we've built multi-product solution takes this into account. As you go through the sales cycle for a multi-product solution on the AWS Marketplace, we've made it very easy to tailor the solution to the needs of your precise customers, meaning that it's very easy to add, remove, or swap components within your solution during the sales cycle. So you're not bound by what you put as a listing on Marketplace. You can evolve this package as it goes through the sales cycle. More importantly, this flexibility allows you to really address any type of customer engagement, whether this is new transactions, renewals, upgrades. All this flexibility comes into play, and you can run with this with multi-product solutions. You don't have to rebuild from scratch. We can reuse previous templates and previous solution templates for new engagements. The final aspect in terms of what that means for our partners is around the fact that it helps streamline procurement. So with multi-product solutions, customers get one cohesive solution presented to them, and they have one contact. That's a key difference. Instead of having to deal with multiple partners, the procurement flow goes through one lead partner that's going to handle the conversation throughout. When customers go through procurement for multi-product solutions, they can review and approve each component individually, giving them a lot of flexibility and facilitating management of these transactions. Also, once the transaction is complete, customers can view their agreements in the context of the solution it was purchased into, facilitating management and renewals in the future. So multi-product solution is about really helping you grow your business while making it easier for your customers to go through the procurement motion. All right, so enough talking. What are we going to do now is I'm going to pass the floor back to Sid, and we're going to go through very specific examples, actually show it to you in action. Sid?
All right, wouldn't be a good reInvent session without a demo, right? So we're going to go into a demo, and rather than pick a fictitious example, we really wanted to lead with one of the true launch partners that we had and a solution that's live in Marketplace today. I'm sure many of us are facing this problem where you want to implement a generative AI or an agentic use case, but the data that you would need to power the LLM or power the agent is all sort of spread out and fragmented across multiple data sources. Some of them are documents, some of them are S3 buckets, some of them are databases, and so on. How do you bring all that together and apply Gen AI on top of that? That is the exact problem that Accenture and Elastic came together to solve. So this solution has 4 components. The first one is Accenture's Aspire connectors, which are sold as a SaaS, software as a service. And they help you connect multiple disparate data sources into a single repository. Then Elastic's popular Elasticsearch service takes over and indexes all of this data, creating a vector database and other data sources to leverage. The third one is Elastic's MCP server that sits on top of this and exposes it to a natural language query interface. And last, to tie all of this together, Accenture provides their popular data to knowledge professional services, right? So in the old world, you would buy these 4 products separately and then have to negotiate the pricing and then tie them together. With multi-product solutions, let's see how that journey gets simplified. To keep this easy to follow on, I'm going to break it into 4 stages. First, we are going to see how Accenture, the partner, creates the solution. Then we'll see the customer experience of how you go about discovering this solution in the marketplace. We'll then see how Accenture creates a very specific transaction or a set of offers for the customer, customizing this deal for the customer. And then last, we'll see how easy it is for the customer to actually procure the solution. All right? So I'll set up some stuff here. All right. So this is the first step where Accenture is actually creating the solution. And as you see, it's pretty straightforward. They have to give us the title, the external facing name, the description, the use cases, and so on. And you can also upload the logo that goes with it. The second step is really critical. So I'll pause here. So here you'll see in this step, Accenture basically has to tell us what specific products are in this solution. And they have a choice of using this option, which is products that are owned by themselves, listed by themselves on Marketplace, or this other choice of products that are owned by another seller, likely a software vendor, but Accenture is authorized to resell it on their behalf. Come on. Sorry, I keep hitting the space button when I shouldn't. You also saw a third category there, which is products outside of Marketplace. Those are for discovery purposes. Some of our partners have a hardware product that goes along with it, which you can't transact over Marketplace, but you can still show that it's part of the overall solution. So here you will see Accenture tells us that it has 4 products in the solution. 2 of them are owned by themselves. 2 are owned by Elastic. They can then tell us the specific use cases that they would like to attach to the solution. And they're done. This is simply a review page where you review that everything looks good and confirm. They can now add videos, other images, and extra information to make their listing even more appealing to customers. And then once everything looks good and you want to actually publish it to the marketplace, they would take this step and update the visibility to public. What's happening here under the covers is this solution is now getting listed publicly on the marketplace for all the customers to discover. All right? So that was step 1. The partner created the solution and has now listed it publicly on Marketplace. Let's go to step 2. So now imagine any customer just coming to the marketplace wanting to solve their Gen AI use case and looking for a solution. Now there's multiple ways in which you can search, browse, and discover products on Marketplace, but I'm just showing a very simple one. You can basically enter a search query and you can see all the products that correspond to that. We also have this new tag called multi-product, which shows that this is actually a solution of multiple products. And you can then click on the included products and quickly see what products are inside that solution. And this is really helpful because a lot of customers will have some familiar vendors they have worked with in the past, or they have a blocked list of vendors who they know that these will not get approved and so on. So this is a very handy way to quickly see, okay, what is really in that solution. They can also now go into the actual detail page and see all of the content that Accenture had entered. And this can include videos, case studies, examples, and so on. And now if the customer is interested in this solution, they would click on this button called Request Private Offer. So for those of you who, what is the mouse? Oh. Maybe I'll use the laser. This button, the Request Private Offer button. And what that does is it's essentially asking for a custom quote from the seller or the partner for your use case. And that's when you negotiate with the seller in terms of pricing, terms that you want, the contract you want to get signed, how much usage you're willing to commit, and so on, right? So that's the private offer process in Marketplace. So now let's assume that all of that process has happened and the Accenture and the customer have now agreed to a set of terms, have agreed to pricing, the duration, and so on. At this point, they can also decide to customize the solution. So they could add a fifth product or remove one of the existing products, add extra services. All of that flexibility is available for both Accenture as well as the customer. So now that that's all decided, let's see how Accenture actually puts together the transaction, right? Now, as Vincent said, each component within the overall solution is still modeled as a single product and a single offer in Marketplace. And the solution is acting like a wrapper that wraps all of them together. So here you see, you create what is called an offer set. It's a set of offers. And once you create that, you actually create a private offer. And a private offer is nothing but a set of custom terms for a given product in Marketplace. I want to pause here and I want to highlight a couple of things. Number one, you see that the offer set now contains 4 different offers that correspond to the 4 products that are in the solution. The other thing I would like you to notice is the kind of product information and the kind of offer can be different per product. So one of the products can be a pay-as-you-go pricing, where you pay based on how much you use. Another one could be a fixed upfront pricing. The services could use our very new time and materials-based pricing feature that we launched at reInvent, and so on. So you have that flexibility as well of how you pay for each of the products within the solution. So with that, the partner can create the offer set. They can give a description for the buyer to understand what it is. And once they do that, they simply hit publish, and that makes the offer set visible to the buyer. So this is the review and publish step. And then you simply hit publish once everything looks good. And that's it. All right, so the partner created the solution, the customer discovered it, they decided to customize it, they have sent the deal. Now we are at the last step, which is where the customer actually can see what's in the deal and accept the sale. So once the partner sends an offer set, the customer gets an email that the offer set is ready for review. They would review the offer set. And here again, you see that it has the 4 offers, 1 for each product. And in this detail page, they can see everything about the offer, including the contract terms. They can attach any purchase order. They can review the pricing, and so on. Once they are happy with that, they accept that specific offer. And you would do that once for each of the 4 offers. The reason for this is we want the customer to always be in full control and have all the necessary details before they accept the overall offer. So we want to make sure that they can review the details per each offer and then agree to the overall solution. The benefit of the overall solution, though, is that you get a total contract value. So in terms of approval with your stakeholders, let's say you want to get approval from your CFO or legal team, finance team, and so on, you could do this as one single approval with this total amount. You can also choose to do one single purchase order for the entire amount, and so on. So that's how we are streamlining procurement for customers. Once you accept the offers, these 4 subscriptions get created, and you can simply start using the product or setting up the SaaS products as needed. So I hope that gives you a flavor of how easy as well as flexible it is for both partners and customers to put together a solution, procure it, but also to control what each component is, and the pricing and so on. With that, I'll hand it back to Vincent to talk about what all of this means for each of you and how this helps grow your business.
Thanks, Sid. So we want to talk about what that means for different stakeholder groups that we are working with, and I see are represented in the room today. So let's start with customers. So there's 3 key benefits for customers of using multi-product solutions. The first one is that you get the procurement advantages of AWS Marketplace that we've talked about at the beginning of the session, while being able to access outcome-driven solutions on Marketplace. So you get directly to the outcomes you want with all the kind of flexibility and scalability that Marketplace brings. The second, as a customer key point, is that you have a single point of contact throughout the transactions. That means for the purchase moment, the support, the renewals, everything goes through one single partner for the needs you have around this solution. The third one is that it's very easy to manage the individual products and components that go into the offer. You maintain visibility throughout the cycle of everything that goes in it, and you have flexibility to adjust and scale individual components as your needs evolve over time. So this is really about bringing the simplicity of buying solutions with the scalability of using AWS Marketplace. Let's move now to another group of stakeholders that benefit and that can use multi-product solutions. And here, I mean system integrators and channel partners. So this has been a long-standing request from channel partners and system integrators to be able to transact solutions on the AWS Marketplace. There's a few points here I think that are worth noting. The first one is that one of the most common use cases is the ability to combine resold ISV products. For those that are familiar with Marketplace, that would be the channel partner private offer program with their own professional services. What they can do as well now is that they can combine solutions aligned to very specific customer outcomes. So you can start to narrow down the scope of your solutions to target very precisely specific customer problems. Finally, it's about creating differentiated solutions that showcase the resellers or the system integrators' IP and expertise. So you can really start to provide your implementation services as a key decision driver in the sales cycle. Another point that's quite interesting is that system integrators and channel partners can now have some visibility on Marketplace. They have solutions that they own that are part of the catalog. So here I'd like to just give you a quick example with one partner that's already leveraging this new capability on the AWS Marketplace. This partner is called SCC. They are one of the leading independent service providers for IT in Europe. And what they've done is that they have leveraged multi-product solutions to create a zero trust endpoint protection solution. This solution includes 3 CrowdStrike products, 2 Zscaler products, and their own professional services sitting on top. So this is really a very targeted solutions looking to solve a very specific customer problem. In the world previously to being able to do multi-product solutions, transacting this sort of solution would have required 6 different private offers transacted one by one with the customers. Here, everything can be presented jointly to the customer and aligned to their business needs. What that means for SCC, being able to use multi-product solutions, is that they can sell outcomes instead of just reselling individual products. They can also greatly streamline the experience of their buyers when they transact these solutions. And as I noted before, they have visibility in Marketplace. They can start using Marketplace as a go-to-market medium to promote their capabilities and IP in the market. For buyers, the benefits of working with SCC through multi-product solutions is that they could procure a complete solution in one transaction. They don't have to piece together individual products that are resold by SCC individually. As a customer, you get the expertise of SCC, all the products you need in one comprehensive package. Let's talk now about another profile of partners that we work with and that can also leverage multi-product solutions. And here, I want to talk about software vendors. There's a few different use cases for software vendors to use multi-product solution. One of the most obvious one is to be able to combine your software products on AWS Marketplace with your own implementation or professional services to facilitate adoption. You can also start to package complementary software products into a single sale. So if you have multiple products on Marketplace that can work together, you can combine them as part of a solution and present them to your customers comprehensively. You can also work on solutions that are combining products that are deployed on premises, products in the cloud into a single solution as well. And on top of this, there's everything else we've mentioned in terms of having the option as a software vendor to start working more deeply with channel partners and system integrators to combine your solutions with the products of other ISVs and providers on Marketplace. So here, in terms of an example, I want to talk about Mistral. They are a European startup. They provide open source large language models. They've never had a public listing on Marketplace to date, and they've decided with the availability of multi-product solutions to create a first public listing. This listing is called Mistral Enterprise Suite, and it combines their product, their software product, with their implementation services. With this combined product, they enable customers to deploy, scale, and manage their AI workloads on their own VPCs. So it's a complete package that looks after a specific customer outcome. So what's the interest of Mistral to use these multi-product solutions to go to market on Marketplace here? There's two main things. The first one is that they can showcase their AI platform and their services as a comprehensive solution for customers. The second, and more importantly, is that by combining their software and services together, they facilitate the discovery of the solution and the adoption of the solution. For buyers, using this solution means they can go from experimentation to productions quicker. They have not only the product, but they have also all the expertise of the partner packaged together in a way that they can start using straight away. Finally, I want to just go through just one last example is that with multi-product solutions, you can also start combining together your products and services with solutions and services provided by AWS. And here, I'll just take the example of Amazon Connect, so the contact center solution provided by AWS. Partners can now sell multi-product solutions that are combining products and services designed to work with Amazon Connect. So you can really start to create multi-product solutions targeted at a specific customer use case that are inclusive of Amazon Connect on AWS Marketplace. One important note here is that the customer still purchase Connect through the AWS console, but the combined solutions that are inclusive of Amazon Connect can be discovered and tailored on the Marketplace catalog to specific customer needs within AWS Marketplace. All right, so we've covered customers, resellers, ISVs. I think overall, we're super happy with the momentum we are seeing with multi-product solutions. So here we've got just an overview of the partners that have already embraced this change. We've got over 60 partners that have already part of solution listings on AWS Marketplace. And I'll just remind you that we launched on Sunday, so this is very, very new, and we're just the beginning of the journey. So this momentum spans across a very wide array of partner types. So we have ISVs that are combining their professional services and products, for example, like Mistral. We've got partners like Okta, Trend. We've got a very wide array of software vendors from all types of categories. We have a lot of SIs and channel partners that are bringing solutions targeted at specific customer needs with partners like SEC, I've mentioned, but also companies like Accenture, Bispin, or Presidio. We have partners, if you recognize some of the logos, like from Europe, Asia, North America. So we have really kind of a wide array of partners already embracing this change and very happy with the momentum. So we hope many of you will join this journey and start also using solution listings on AWS Marketplace, whatever stakeholder you are in Marketplace, whether you're an ISV, a channel partner, or just a customer of AWS Marketplace. All right, so just to bring us home, I'll just hand back the floor to Sid just to share with you a few call to actions and next steps.
Thanks, Vincent. As Vincent said, we are really excited about the momentum we are seeing and the interest that we are seeing from all of our partners in multi-product solutions. And for the sellers in the room, I hope to see all of your logos in that slide next year as well. But I just want to talk a little bit about where you go from here, like what are the next steps, right? So first, Vincent and I will be right here. I more than welcome your questions, clarifications. Please come find us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. We also have a marketplace booth in the expo where you can stop by and ask any of our team members more about how you get started. But the learning doesn't have to stop at reInvent. So here are a few QR codes for resources that you can leverage even after reInvent. There's both for partners of how to create solutions as well as for customers of how to transact and accept them. So with that, I'll leave you with just 3 thoughts and takeaways from the session. I think first, if you are a seller on Marketplace, I'd love for you to sort of change your mental model a little bit. Today, your Marketplace GTM motions are all about your product. And it's all about describing the product and showing how attractive it is, etc. But now we are shifting the mindset to talk more about the customer problem and what specific outcomes and use cases your product can help solve. Maybe not by itself, but when combined with other related products and services. So really realigning your thinking that way. The second one is working with your other ISV partners as well as channel partners and system integrators to evolve your sales model and how you go to market more as combined solutions versus individual products. And the third is how you can work with Marketplace to simplify delivery of these solutions. As you saw, it makes it much easier for you as a seller because we use a lot of the existing concepts like private offers and authorizations and so on, as well as for customers because you get to see in detail each component, but also procure as one motion. So we welcome you to adopt Marketplace for solution selling and join us on this transformation. Thank you. You have been a great audience, and thanks for all the time and attention. Thank you.